Hello everyone, welcome back to the garage, golf cart garage. I am Tim. We're going to talk about some golf cart stuff today, maybe answer some questions, maybe help some people out, maybe save you some money. Let's see, this is Thursday, February the 2nd. This is episode 92, so we've talked about a lot of golf carts so far, and questions never seem to stop. They just keep coming. So as long as they keep coming, I'll keep coming here. If you like this content, feel free to like and subscribe. If you would like to watch us on YouTube or Facebook like you're doing now, that's fine. But if you want to follow us on any social media platform, the links are running right now. You can follow us anywhere. We're all over the place now. We are worldwide on social media links, that's for sure. We're everywhere. So follow us on your favorite platform. I'll run those again later on. Let's see. The title of today's episode was Solenoid being hot. So in case you didn't notice that, so I'm sure that one of the questions that we'll be covering today is going to have something to do with a hot solenoid. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Craig in YouTube already. What's up, man? What's shaking, bacon? Not much, man. What's up with you? We're kind of in a middle of a slight ice storm here, believe it or not, in the south. We got a little bit of ice going on. Nothing major. It's all melting today. I think it's supposed to be gone by later on, afternoon. I think we get out of the ice storm warning. But for the last couple of days here, it's been pretty frozen all around me. John Genslinger North. What's up, John? Insert weekly shameless request for swag. That is exactly right, John. Good job, man. I appreciate that. That will help. Let's see. That will definitely help, man. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and get started. And like you see already, we're going to possibly talk to some people in the live. We got 𝗶𝘁𝗲𝗀𝗃 in the live. What's up, 𝗶𝘁𝗃𝗲𝗀? Glad to have you here, man. Appreciate it. I hope you like this content. I hope you have some. Hope I might be able to help you out with the golf cart stuff. Where are you at, Herb? Post your location. I always like to know where people are at just for some reason. I know where John is at. I believe I know where Craig is at. We'll get started with question number 1. Question number 1. My 2014 Yamaha Drive is acting up. The batteries are fully charged. It runs fine at first. Then inexplicably it slows down to about half speed regardless of how far the pedal is depressed. Well, that sounds very much like a speed sensor related issue. What you can do to check that, I think this will work on a Yamaha. I know it works on Club Car and EZGO. With your toe switch in the run position, key switch off, toe switch in run position, push your golf cart on level ground. Like get out of it or walk behind it and push it on level ground. And if you're able to push it just free, and it freewheels, just like you're freewheeling it, then it's a speed sensor fault, that's for sure, because you shouldn't be able to push it without it electrically holding you back. It should start beeping and start holding you back. So you could try that just to verify what I'm thinking, but it sounds like a speed sensor issue to me. Herb says he's on the East Coast, Delaware. Well, then I guess my little ice storm doesn't really do much for you, does it? I probably don't get any sympathy from my little ice storm. I mean, I got a couple of icicles outside hanging off the roof. Craig says Mississippi River Coast, Godfrey, Illinois. Yeah, y'all both know cold more than I do. All right. Let me look around here just for a second. Joe Foster on Facebook. What's up, Joe Foster? Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Cool. Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Ricky Smith. What's up, Ricky? Glad to have you, man. Tell him I would like to buy some swag. Y'all gonna get it. I tell you, y'all gonna make it happen. You're gonna make it happen. Mason Grove, Lake City. What's up, Mason? Glad to have you back, man. Sin City in Vegas, and it's 60 degrees here today. It's that cold. Is that cold? 60 degrees? No, that's not really cold. Kurt Bowers in Bradenton, Florida. What's up, Kurt? Yeah, I know it's warm there. Yeah. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm headed one day. Walking on the beach in Florida. Or driving on the beach in my golf cart in Florida. That sounds like pretty good to me. All right, let's see. Number 2. We're going to check. This is from Michael. How can I increase the speed of my 2017 Yamaha electric golf cart? Can it be reprogrammed for this? Just want 4 miles an hour faster. I remember speaking with Michael earlier this week about, I think he had scheduled a call with me with GHOD. If you're interested in doing that, you can click the link in the description and schedule a call with me. If the slots are full, when you try to schedule a call with me, my schedule is all over the place nowadays. So if you try to schedule with me and you never can find an open slot, just come here on the live. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday. If you can't schedule a call with me, catch me on the live, and I'll talk to you directly. Anyway, I remember talking with this person about his Yamaha, and turns out he did have a programmable Yamaha. This was a Yamaha that could be programmed for a higher speed. And so he called his dealer and he got a quote on the price and everything, and that's what he's going to do. So your car may be programmable depending on which car you have and what year it is, and you might be able to just go to the dealer and they plug their little computer in and they speed you up to the highest speed. His apparently was set for something really slow because he was only getting about 12 miles an hour, that's not unusual, but that's probably on the lowest end that a golf cart would be programmed at. See, the Pro, I've probably said this before, but the Pro at a golf course, all golf courses have a Golf Pro, okay? Well, in a lot of golf courses, the Golf Pro is the guy in charge of the golf carts. And when he orders a new set of golf carts, which a lot of times they get a new set like every 3 years. So when he's talking to the representative for whatever company he's going with, you got to understand he's getting approached by Yamaha Club Car and EZGO. All 3 of them are sending a representative to his golf course if he's leasing his carts and trying to sell him on trying to get a better deal. They're all 3 in competition with each other. So when he's ordering his golf carts, he picks how fast he wants them to go. When he orders a fleet, it might be 50 or 100 golf carts. He determines how fast he wants his players on his golf course to be able to drive. And that, hilly golf courses, you might not want anybody to be as fast. If it's a flat golf course with easy golf cart trails, you might be able to, program a little faster. So those cars come to him programmed at a certain speed, if they're programmable cars. So then they hit the used market after the lease is up, generally after about 3 years. And so after that point, that's when they hit the used market. So that's why I say it's not unusual for you to get a golf cart that's only like 3 years old, it's in fantastic condition, straight off the course, but it only goes 12 miles an hour. That wouldn't be unusual. Okay, let's see. Kirk says it's in the 80s. Oh man, that would be nice. 𝗶𝘂𝗲𝗀's got a question. TXT EZGO batteries fully charged, reverse only works for about 30 foot in reverse, then no more until it sets for at least 30 minutes or more. I've never had a problem going forward. Okay, if you've never had a problem going forward, if it's not doing the same thing in forward, then I'm going to ask you about your, do you have a run toe switch on your EZGO TXT? Or is it a mechanical forward and reverse switch, or is it a push button, just a push button forward and reverse switch? Because if it's mechanical, if it's the old mechanical type, then you're going to have a problem in there. Is this something getting hot in reverse? Well, that's what I need to know. I need to know which electrical system you have, Herb, on your cart. Do you have a run toe switch under the seat? That would be what I would need to know. Let's see. Craig says, where's the best place? Rocker switch. Okay, so you do have a rocker switch. Okay. If you, wait, what are you saying there? You have a run toe switch, or your forward and reverse switch is the mechanical rocker switch. Craig says, where's the best place to buy a used cart, a golf course or personal sale? Well, I'm going to tell you what, Craig, it's very unusual for you to find a golf cart that has never been involved on a golf course as a lease cart. It'd be very hard to find one that has not been. But if you could, it would be better to buy a personal cart that was bought, personal from the beginning. But that's going to be an unusual find. That's going to be a rare barn find. Cliff Taylor says 2006 Club Car Carryall 2 IQ Plus. Suspect the controller is bad. Status light is always off. Cart stutters, and only runs at low speed. Armature voltage with pedal depressed, 16 volts max. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm about to say, because I've said this before in these episodes. Anytime somebody comes to my shop or came to my golf cart shop and described a symptom as a stutter or a shudder, and he used both words, shudders or stutters, it only runs at low speeds. Most of the time, it is a battery related issue when they have that stuttering issue. When a battery's dropping out, when you have one bad battery with one bad cell, even in one bad battery, one of the cells could be bad, and you start to press the gas pedal and that battery gets put under load, that voltage will drop and it will cause that solenoid to click on and off. It'll cause the cart to shake. So that would be my questions, Cliff. My first questions would be about your batteries themselves. I would need voltage readings. I'd want you to do a load test on each battery while the stuttering's going on. I would want a voltage reading on the battery while the cart is stuttering. Make it stutter and have a voltmeter connected to each battery one at a time. Do it 6 times, and I bet you'll find out where your stutter's coming from. Okay, Herb says that the run toe switch is on the controller. That is correct. Okay, forward and reverse, which is next to the key. Gotcha. Okay, now I know what you have. All right. So if your car is running fine in forward, Herb, and you don't have a problem with that, and it's going out in reverse after a few seconds or whatever, you have to understand your controller is the device that is responsible for the switching of forward and reverse in your type electrical system. It's electronically switching polarity to the motor with your controller. So the electronic culprit in there would be the controller itself. I've had controllers where they were only half power. I've had controllers that there was no forward. So you've got something blown in reverse, or you've got some diodes in your reverse section of your controller that are heating up, like you said. They're getting hot, and then they're going into thermal shutdown on the reverse side. So yeah, that would be what I would say. Your card must be a TXT PDS. And it would not be unusual at all to have to replace a controller in a PDS. I would recommend going with an aftermarket one. Don't go back with the same one that came in there. Go back with an All-Trax or a Navitas controller. Those are more heavy duty. They're waterproof. It's a better setup, and you'll probably get a little more speed out of your cart too, by the way, after you do that switch. Let's see. Load tested batteries okay. Replaced any suspect cables. Okay, load tested batteries, okay. Okay, so that's the cart that's shuddering or stuttering. Okay, so you're saying that you don't have a battery issue. Well, if you don't have a battery issue, then it's going to be either your controller or, let's see, a Club Car Carryall 2 2006, you're going to have an M-Core. Now, M-Core doesn't necessarily, I've never seen an M-Core cause a shudder or a stutter. I've seen an M-Core cause the cart to vary in speed as you're going along. It's just it'll just go fast and then go back slow and then go fast, even though you're holding your foot in the same place. So you're probably looking at a controller on that cart, Cliff. Let's see, Gene Hansen. I use my 36-volt cart on hunting property, no electric, so cannot plug in every night. I use a generator when I think it needs to be recharged. At what low voltage should I charge? At what low voltage should I charge batteries? Michigan. All right, Gene, don't worry about at what voltage you should charge your batteries. Your batteries do not develop a memory or anything like that, so just charge your batteries whenever you can. You can't, I mean, if your charger is an automatic shut-off charger, then you can't charge it too much. So you could come up with a schedule if it made you feel better, like charge it every Wednesday, you know, or every Friday or something like that, or maybe twice a week, you know, just keep them. It's good to keep your batteries topped off. Those batteries like to be topped off. Then they like that the best, that, you know, compared to any other condition. They don't like to be dead. They don't like to be half charged. That just causes problems. So don't wait. What I'm saying is that don't wait for low voltage. Just go ahead and charge your car. It's not going to hurt a thing. Herb says, thank you. I hope that solves your problem, Herb. Cliff Taylor says, already replaced the M core. Well, now you're really narrowing things down. You're making it pretty easy. You've already replaced the M core. You're telling me that it is not a battery issue. So the only thing that it could be with the stutter and a shudder at this point is either going to be your controller or your motor, and it's very unlikely that it's your motor. You know, that would be the most unlikely. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a possibility. You could have a loose wire on your motor, so make sure you check all that. Make sure you don't have just an obvious loose connection. Let's see. Gene Hansen says, when does power quit? What do you mean there, Gene? No electric, so I not plug it in after night. When does power quit? I don't understand your question there, Gene. Let me look over here real quick. Okay, we're on number 3. Oh, when does power quit? You mean when did battery die? Well, you got to understand, you got 6 batteries in there. They're not going to all die at the same time. You're going to have one that goes out first, and it's going to be just one battery. Just one of your batteries is going to go out first, and this is even if they're all good. You know, even if your batteries are brand new, they're not going to die at the same time. You're going to have one of those 6 batteries is going to go out first. So that's why I said don't pay attention to the voltage thing. You really don't even need to worry about that if you have a charging plan. If you have a charging schedule, just, you know, like I said, come up with a schedule for you and you won't have to worry about the low voltage. Herb says, can I call you? If so, what number are for follow-up and controller brands again? You can set up an appointment with me, Herb. Yes, you can click the link in the description, and that will take you to the scheduling page. And then if there's an available time slot, you can set up an appointment for me to call you, and we can talk about that. But the controllers that I recommend for your particular car would be either an All-Tracks. You got to remember, your car is it's a PDS. Didn't I say that earlier? Yeah, it's a PDS, EZGO PDS. Let me scroll up and make sure that I got that right. Yeah, you got an EZGO PDS because it's next to the key. Yeah. And you have a run tow switch under the seat, key it. Yeah, it's going to be a PDS. So All-Tracks is one of the controllers I recommend for a PDS. Got to be for an EZGO PDS. And a Navitas. We sell both of them at Golf Cart Garage. So go to golfcartgarage.com and if you need to talk to an operator, they'll know exactly. As long as you have that information, you have an EZGO PDS and you want to get a new controller. Any of the wonderful customer service representatives that we have here at Golf Cart Garage would be perfectly willing and able to help you. Okay. Cliff Taylor was okay. That's the 𝗟𝗂𝗃 IQ Plus. Suspect the controller is bad. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm suspecting too. Now, Cliff, since yours is an 2006 Club Car 𝗟𝗂𝗃 IQ Plus, suspect the controller is bad. You realize that there is a diagnostic port on that car, and that every time your car is shuddering and stuttering like that and not taking off normally, it's because you have an IQ system. There's going to be a diagnostic port on there. It's storing a fault code There's a fault code being stored in your controller, and 𝗏𝘃𝗲 has a computer that can plug in and read that fault code. And if you wanted, more clarification or more, validation on it being the controller or the motor, they could tell you real quick what your fault code is leaning toward. Controller for your car, Herb, is anywhere from 500 to 750, something like that, for a brand new All-Trax or a brand new Navitas, just depending on which one you go with, because you got different amp size. I recommend going with as big amp controller as you can afford. It doesn't hurt anything when you do that. Then you'll be ready for future upgrades down the road. Let's see, did I do number 3? I don't think so. I have an EZGO RXV 2017 model. It's a lithium ion cart. It does not run as fast as my club's fleet of EZGos. How can I increase the speed of this cart? Uh, 2000 EZGO RXV, it must be, like I was talking earlier, it just must be set at a very, very low speed. So you could contact EZGO and see what they would cost you just to bring it back up to the normal speed, which is somewhere between, it's usually between 12 and 15 miles an hour would be normal for any golf cart. That's usually what they're ordered at. And then once they hit the private sector, then they can be unlocked, by some programming from the dealer and put to around 19.6. So I would call them and see what kind of quote they'd give you on just unlocking or just speeding it up to the fastest point. Let's see. Cliff says, when replacement controller, what replacement controller would you recommend? Well, the best controllers out there, as far as I'm concerned, we sell both of them. That would be All-Trax and Navitas. That's anywhere between $500, $750 is the approximate cost on that. Check over here on Facebook. Got Joe Foster. Joe says, Tim, what interval should the battery cables be changed, and do the motor cables need to be changed? For what application, Joe? For you thinking of upgrading? Or are you thinking of upgrading in the future to a bigger controller? Or are you putting a lift kit with taller tires? Or is your golf cart completely stock? Because I would have a different answer for both of those scenarios. If your golf cart is completely stock, then the only reason that you would ever need to change the cables is if you had one that was continuously corroding. It was corroding over and over and over again. You clean the corrosion and it would keep coming back. What that would mean is that there's corrosion under the insulation of that particular cable, and you might want to change that. That usually never happens to the cables going to the motor. That usually only happens to one of the cables on top of the batteries that's connecting the batteries together. So there's no really interval. Check for heat every now and then. Like after you've been driving your car for a long time, put your hand on your cables. Check all your cables. What you're checking for is unusual heat on one particular cable. If you find one that's getting hot and the other ones aren't, like your other battery cables are not, and one of your battery cables is, replace that cable, because that thing is corroded on the inside, or it's going to leave you stranded one day. So there's no set interval that they should be changed. A wire in good condition that doesn't develop corrosion will last forever. So just check them for heat and corrosion problems. That would be when I would start worrying about replacing stuff. Okay, number 4. This is from Joseph. I have a 48-volt battery system. My battery continues to drain even after being charged for at least 8 to 12 hours. I had all 6 replaced within 2 years ago. What can I do next? Well, sounds like to me, if your battery's only 2 years old, sounds like to me that you got a bad one, or you got one that's dropping out already. Because a new set of batteries, you shouldn't even notice the drain. I don't know how you're determining that they are draining, but you could be when it fails, when your golf cart fails, take a voltage reading on every one of your batteries and see if you've got one that's way less than the others, and then that could be your culprit right there. Because you shouldn't be having those problems with only 2-year-old batteries of any brand. You know, I've seen it before, but that's pretty bad. Keith Pooh, what's up? I'm sorry, not Pooh. Popel, Keith Popel. Hey Tim, happy I caught you live today. Thanks for all the information, Keith. Well, thank you, Keith. Thank you for saying that. Oh, and swag. Third person today to ask for swag. 3, just today. Just pointing that out. They're gonna kill me. Number 5. Let's see, where are we at? Number 4 or 5? Let me check number 4. No, that was okay. I'm on number 5. This is from Ross. I have 2017 Club Car Precedent. Serial starts with JE. It was a firm course cart, and it goes between 12 to 15 miles an hour. Well, like I discussed earlier, that's normal. What is the best way to get this thing to go 19 to 20? Well, we talked about that earlier on one of the other questions, and you can get to 19 just by going to the dealer and having them plug their computer in. You know, they plug in a little special computer, and then nobody's going to have one except for a dealer, and then they can unlock it and speed it up to 19.6, I believe, is what that car can be sped up to. So Herb says, swag, what is swag? They're talking about hats. Everybody seems to like my hat. I had this one made. We actually don't sell these at Golf Cart Garage, but I have people ask for that all the time. And so we're trying to get the boss to hook me up with some things that I can give away, like hats and t-shirts and stuff. So that's what he's talking about when he says swag. John Genslinger Norris says, did some more research on the speedy new club car. According to the manufacturer, the motor rates 3.5 at 36 and 5.5 at 48. They claim speeds of 22 on 48, which is what I've clocked. That's exactly right. That's perfectly normal, and that's a good mod. I'd let it ride. I'd let it ride and just run that thing. Let me see. Okay, you got a 2003. Joe on Facebook is asking me about his cart with the cables. 2003 EZGO TXT lifted cart. What size above stock? Okay, well, stock wires are 6 gauge. Now, what I did on mine, I have a lifted EZGO also with a big torque motor and a big high amp controller, and I went all the way to 2 gauge. Now, that's probably not necessary. 4 gauge would probably be fine. So either go to 4 or to 2. And remember, replace all your cables, you know, your battery cables and your motor cables and all that if you're planning on doing that. Otherwise, you're going to have a bottleneck in your electrical system. If you've got big cables and then you've got a small cable, then you're only going to be able to pass the amount of current that small cable can. But you could do it with 4. That would be fine. But remember, just to feel for heat, and if you get any cables that are unnecessarily hot, then either change that cable or make that cable bigger. So either 4 gauge or 2 gauge would be what I would recommend. John Genslinger says, given those motor specs with a series cart, would upgrading the controller to Alltrax or Navitas or even a high amp Curtis unlock any more performance? Okay, John, generally, replacing the controller only on a series wound cart. Got to remember, you have a series wound cart. Replacing the controller, even if you went from stock to 600 amps, you put a 600 amp controller on there right now, you're not going to get any more speed. You're not going to get any more speed. What you do get is you're going to get more available torque. You're going to get more available amps is what you're going to get. So that would be an upgrade that would be up to you to decide if you needed more hill climbing power or not. Let's see. Number 5. No, we're on number 6. This is from Laura. I live in northern Michigan and I put my electric 2003 EZGO TXT away for 6 months. How do I take care of the batteries? All right, well, that's a very easy answer to that question. You either need to have a charging plan, because 6 months is too long to leave it completely unattended with nothing going on with your batteries. That's too long in Michigan. So you either need to have some type of charging plan where it's going to get charged occasionally by somebody, a friend of yours, or somebody's got to go over there and unplug the charger and plug it back in if it's not an automatic charger. Or you need to get a charger, a special charger, like a Summit 2 that we sell here at Golf Cart Garage, that will go into storage mode and will actually come back on and recharge your cart automatically after a certain amount of time. You need to get a charger like that, or a charging plan. That's why I say the overall thing you need to do is have a charging plan. Craig says, how does a guy go about requesting GCG t-shirts, hats, or underoos? Well, you just did, man. You just did. Number 7. This is from Linda R. How do you keep batteries from corroding? Well, the number one thing that causes battery corrosion, the number one thing that I've seen in my shop, you got 2 or 3 different types of people that water their batteries. You got people that hardly ever put water in their batteries and they neglect them, and then you got people that put too much water in your batteries. Like a lot of people, they think they're doing the right thing when they top them off. They use the word top them off. You know, they fill them up. Well, that's too much. That's too much water. You need to leave some space under the top. So see, halfway between, if you look in the hole, you want the water level to be halfway between the lead plate and the top. That way it gives that water level room to, well, it's acid. It's not actually just water, it's acid. Gives it room to come up and gives it room to go down. It comes up during the charge cycle and goes down during the discharge cycle, or the usage of the golf cart. The water level, acid level actually drops a little bit. So if your car is fully charged and you top them off and then you put it on the charger again, it's going to come up and it's going to come out your plates, and when it comes out it's going to come out your caps, and when it comes out the caps, it's going to go to the first place that has metal, and that's going to be your lead post and where your battery cables are connected, and you're going to end up with corrosion. So the first step into preventing corrosion is do not overfill your batteries. Do not fill them up too high. John says, I'd really like the ability to lock the speed for when guests use the cart. Like, is it possible with Navitas? Do you have to hook up the laptop to the Alltrax to accomplish the same? Yes, you do. Alltrax is programmable also. Yep, you'd have to do the same. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Navitas has the dial thing is what you're talking about. Like it's possible with the Navitas. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they've got the dial thing. I haven't seen that with Alltrax. You're going to have to do something else. I think you're going to have to hook up the laptop with Alltrax, like you're saying. Number 7. No, number 8. I have a 95 EZGO TXT. I'll run it around the neighborhood, lots of continuous running, heavy use, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Solenoid gets very hot, too hot to touch. All connections are tight. I have a Navitas controller and assume that I have a standard solenoid. Is there a better solenoid that I should be using? Thanks. Answer to your question is absolutely. Both Navitas, which we've talked about a lot today, and Alltrax, both of those companies, they recommend a heavy-duty solenoid when changing your stock controller to one of their controllers. Alltrax recommends a heavy-duty solenoid, and so does Navitas. And we sell the solenoid that you would need here at Golf Cart Garage also. Let me check over here. No, we're good there. Number 9. I have a Yamaha G2. How do I know if the clutches are bad? I used to have a Yamaha G2 myself. It's a very good cart. I liked it. I did a lot of work with my Yamaha G2. Well, I've said this before many times, but it's the only way that I know of to tell if your clutches are bad is to crank it in neutral with the body up. You know, the Yamaha G2, the whole body kind of flips up out of the way so you can look at everything. Put your foot on the accelerator pedal and crank it in neutral. Put it in neutral, crank it up, and rev it up, and watch your clutches. Make sure that both of your clutches, the drive clutch and the driven clutch, make sure they have smooth, continuous operation and they work opposite of each other. One of them is going to squeeze in, the other one's going to squeeze out as the RPMs go up and down. If you don't see any jerky movement and all that's working correctly, then it's clutches, that's a good sign. That seems to be normal. But if you see something going on, or one of them's not squeezing in and one of them's not squeezing out, you know, if you've got one of them that's not moving at all, then that could be your problem, whatever your issue might be. Number 10. I have an EZGO cart, and I was riding yesterday. This morning, I had no juice. I hooked up my battery charger and nothing, no juice on either. What can I do? Well, it sounds like it's a possibility that yesterday you ran the cart and you ran the batteries to a very, very, very low level. And your charger has to sense a certain amount of voltage before it's going to come on. That could be the whole deal. So this is what I always tell customers when they tell me my charger won't come on. I say, well, the first thing you need to do is eliminate the fact, like a lot of people, you know, in a lot of garages, the outlets on inside a garage, because they may be on the contractor that built the house or built the garage may have put GFI outlets, and they have a circuit breaker on, because they might, in a garage, you know, you could have a tendency to get things wet. So make sure the outlet that your charger is plugged into is hot. That's the first thing you do. Make sure that's hot. Then plug your charger in, and if you're still not getting anything, check your voltage on your battery pack. Your battery pack could very well be too low in order to turn the charger on. If it is too low, we have videos here at Golf Cart Garage that kind of help explain how you can, how just a regular, you know, just anybody can take a 12-volt charger, a 12-volt automotive charger, and run it across two 6-volt batteries if you have that set up, or even hook a 12-volt charger to one 8-volt battery, as long as you don't walk away from it. You gotta do this under supervision only. Don't walk away from it. Put a timer or something and do an 8-volt battery for about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes, just to get the voltage up a little bit in that battery, and then move to the next. There's ways to get that eliminated, is what I'm saying, because the fact that your cart won't run and now your charger won't run makes me think that you have too low voltage in your cart. All right, that was the last scheduled question. There is the social media links again. If you like this content, and if you want to follow us on other platforms, there they are, all of them. You can follow us anywhere you would want. I'm all over the place. Let's see. John says, your thoughts on replacement bushings for leaves, etc., rubber versus urethane. I have found, well, I like the rubber ones, honestly. I know, because what I have found with those urethanes, it's almost like they have an expiration date on them, because the ones I've seen, all of a sudden, you know, after a couple of years or something, you might be walking around looking at your leaf springs, and you'll notice that your bushings are all cracked and big chunks and pieces of them are missing. I never had that problem with rubber bushings. Rubber bushings, they just kind of get bigger and maybe develop a little bit of slack, you know. But those urethane ones, at least the ones I have tried, they tend to crack and just disintegrate, basically. So I don't like that. You know, like you could be riding around one day and everything would be fine, and then the next thing you know, you've been metal to metal on your leaf spring bushing. So anyway, that's just my opinion on that. Just based on experience with the bushings. Anyway, to keep the rubber ones supply here in the Vegas heat. Well, I've been known to spray them. I've been known to, when I put them in, I've been known to use a little grease. And I'm sure that would help with a little bit, but there's not much you can do about Vegas heat. You know, that's going to tear up a lot of stuff. Let's see here. All right, there's the coupon. I know you've all seen that, but here it is. Get 5% off any parts you order at checkout at golfcartgarage.com if you use the coupon code 𝗃7. 𝗃7. This expires on February 10th. So you got about a week left on that coupon code. 5% off any parts. You use 𝗃7 at checkout at golfcartgarage.com. And John says, beer always. Well, I haven't tried to throw beer on it. That'd be a waste of beer, in my opinion. But WD-40, you know, is always good. Never seen WD-40 hurt anything. Oh, you meant for you. Yeah, I see. Let's see. I guess we are about done here. This was episode 92. See, I ran the social media links. Oh, I got to do a tip. This episode's tip. And we did talk about this tip in this episode. I usually try to find the tip out of the regularly scheduled questions. This week's tip is this. If you replace your stock controller with an aftermarket controller, whether it be a Navitas or an Alltrax, doesn't matter. If you replace your stock controller with a more powerful controller, then upgrade your solenoid to a heavy-duty solenoid. It's not 100% necessary, but it is recommended by the people that make controllers. So I would say they probably know what they're talking about when it comes to that electrical situation. Or you might end up with a problem like this person here in the live had, or in the regularly scheduled questions had, with the solenoid getting too hot. So that a heavy-duty solenoid anytime you upgrade the controller, and that's this week's tip. All right, guys. This was a busy one today. I want to thank everybody. Joe Foster on Facebook, thank you for coming. Everybody on YouTube, John, Craig, Herb, Mason, Keith, Cliff, Gene. Oh, thank all you, Kurt. I said Kurt, I believe. Nice. All right. Thank everybody for coming. I will see everybody next time, which will be next Tuesday. I am Tim, if you don't know. I'm a member of the Gearheads On Demand service that we offer at Golf Cart Garage. If you're interested in that service, click the link in the description. That'll take you to the scheduling page. I can call you. If you think I need to see your problem rather than just speak to me on the phone, we can actually make it a video appointment where I can take control of your camera and I can see what you're pointing at with your camera if it's something that I need to see. Usually a phone call's enough, but if we do have the ability to turn it into a video if need be. So that's going to be it for me this week, guys. I will see everybody then. Garage is now closed.